Keep up to date with the latest news and information from Propertymark.
So, welcome to Propertymark Pulse in association with Rightmove. A pretty heavy-duty week in terms of news for the sector and some full-on subjects to jump right into. Firstly, Propertymark have released their keynote report titled Leasehold, Is It Still a Life Sentence? So we'll get involved in that. Also, since we last spoke, the UK government have announced additional support for residents living with unsafe cladding, and we'll dip into statistics from Moneyfacts regarding mortgage rates and the fact they fell at the fastest pace in almost 2 years. So let's jump in.
We are Propertymark.
So this is a massive talking point at the moment. Propertymark has published their latest report titled Leasehold Still a Life Sentence in partnership with the National Leasehold Campaign and the Leasehold Knowledge Partnership. It uncovers new evidence that despite legislative progress, leaseholders remain trapped by rising costs, complex rules and an uncertain market. The report includes the plight of a leaseholder named Stacey. Within the report, she outlines that over an 8-year period, she accepted an offer on a home on 5 separate occasions. On each separate occasion, buyers pulled out of the transaction due to uncertainties connecting with the leasehold. The report, which highlights the many widespread challenges faced by leaseholders across England and Wales, exposes restrictive lease terms, consumer concerns and the overall impact leasehold has on the housing market. Many of the recommendations contained within the initial report created 8 years ago resulted in legislative change, but there is still more that can be done. It's absolutely worth the read and it can be found at propertymark.co.uk/leasehold-report.
We are Propertymark.
Next on the list, Propertymark welcomes renewed ambition to remove dangerous cladding from buildings with serious fire safety risks. It has been an ongoing problem for an extremely long period of time now. For many, cladding-related problems have led to tragedy, years of anxiety, costly remediation work and stalled property sales as well, basically preventing people moving on when they need to. The UK government have proposed buildings with the highest risk to life will be prioritised for remediation works under the cladding safety scheme. New funding will also be made available to high-risk buildings under 11 metres tall, and a review launched into building insurance costs to understand whether they are fair for leaseholders. Realistically, this will take time to resolve, but it's one for very tragic reasons that rightly evokes very passionate and sensitive responses. Let me know your thoughts via sending a message to studio@propertymark.co.uk.
We are Propertymark.
So earlier this week we saw Moneyfacts release data regarding mortgage rates, and it was good news for those considering taking out a new mortgage deal for the most part. The findings found that rates fell at their fastest pace in almost 2 years. Fixed mortgage rates generally dropped, citing the biggest monthly reductions since August 2024. Average new mortgage rates fell by around 0.12% to 5.4%, its biggest monthly fall since March 2025, with mortgage availability increasing for a third consecutive month in a row, with product choice rising by 45 deals to a whopping 7,177 different options. So are things starting to look a little bit more rosy maybe? Well, yes and also no at the same time. Obviously the findings are absolutely positive news currently. However, we could be in the shadows of potentially re-escalating unrest within the global economy. So it's a case of all eyes on the wider global economy, and as we all know, it could go absolutely any direction. We also have inflation figures to watch next week, and the week following that we also have yet another base rate decision which will more accurately set the tone for the months ahead. Let us know what you think. Fly me an email to studio@propertymark.co.uk.
Propertymark.
As always, many thanks for listening to Propertymark Pulse in association with Rightmove. We are back in 2 weeks' time with our review of the year so far, and as always, it's genuinely great to have you on board. Always drop me a line, as this podcast is about conversation on various aspects that affect the sector, and always you can keep up to date at propertymark.co.uk/news for the latest news and information.